Today I'm going to be debunking Aron Ra. He is one of the oldest and most popular atheist YouTubers. He was a Reddit atheist before Reddit even existed. He is a self-described feminist, a Satanist, and he ran for Texas State Senate as a Democrat. Who would have guessed? And he's a part of the same satanic temple that said abortion is a part of religious liberty. They need it for sacrificial purposes. He is so devout in his Satanism and atheism that he went to Idaho's Day of Prayer to mock and make fun of religion and to do a satanic invocation. Oh, but just ironically.
Lilith, hail Satan!
Anoint you in the ashes of the false Messiah's word.
We are here today to open your mind and help you out of your delusion. Hail Satan!
Hail Satan!
I'll talk about the lack of self-awareness in his Satanist, Democrat, and atheist activities later in the video. But what I think is so ironic is that religion has given his life meaning. If there was no religion to debunk, he would have no meaning in his life. He spent his entire career debunking these crazy religionists and creationists. But if there was no religion, he would be a nobody. He would have no point to his life. Religion has unironically given his life a meaning, a point. And what the easiest way to refute someone like this, because most of these atheists have no philosophical training. And what I am going to show, we're going to see him literally refute himself. And he is so spiteful in his atheism. He says, no, I don't have any faith. No, that's so stupid. The Bible has nothing correct.
Absolutely wrong about
absolutely everything back to front. There is no truth in the Bible. Yeah, there's an Ethiopia somewhere.
The Bible has absolutely nothing correct in it. Everything in it is absolutely wrong. This next clip is going to show his complete ignorance in philosophy, because Aron Ra and most of these atheists are scientism fundamentalists. And if they just took literally the most basic philosophy of science class, they would not make these mistakes. I took a philosophy of science class. This is a common book that we use. If you just read through this, you would not make the same arguments. You would not fall into the fallacies that Aron Ra, this king atheist, makes. He doesn't have any self-awareness. Now let's watch Aron Ra refute himself.
You make popular YouTube videos, you've got millions of hits, and you don't know the basics about instrumentalism, realism, constructive empiricism, selectionism, constraints. You don't know none of this.
Those are philosophical. I'm not interested in philosophy.
So if you're not interested in philosophy, why are you talking about metaphysics? Why are you talking about the existence of God? Why are you dismissing all of philosophy of science?
I specified scientific evidence.
And by the way, listen, here's the thing. If you understood the philosophy of science, you wouldn't be making the statements you're making now. That's all I'm saying.
And all I'm saying is it's true. All I'm saying is it's true.
Is what?
Is that you are wrong.
He literally responds like a child. He goes,
Nuh-uh, you're wrong. Okay.
If you took philosophy of science, you know that there are things assumed prior to doing science. The only reason we have the scientific endeavor, that it can be justified, epistemology, the theory of knowledge, how you can have knowledge about these scientific claims, that you can actually, use inductive reasoning, you can use deductive reasoning, all the things that are required for the scientific method itself, you need philosophy for. But he just said he's not interested in philosophy.
You said that science doesn't achieve truth. So if you're saying something doesn't correspond to reality.
So challenge the philosophers of science who say it doesn't.
God does not. Okay, but we established the truth is what the facts are, right? I had all that we needed to do.
Correspondence theory of truth, fine.
All we had to understand was what you mean by truth. These guys say truth is what conforms to reality. Truth is what the facts are. Then your statement is wrong. Using that definition.
So are you saying selectionism is wrong?
You then have to bring in certain. No, I don't know anything about selection.
Exactly.
So it may be right. So I may be of the same position that you are, because the way you describe it sounds like what I subscribe to.
No, but you believe in scientific. It sounds like you believe in scientific realism.
Why? Because I would have thought that I believed in empiricism.
No. Okay, Aaron, this is getting really silly now, right? Empiricism, scientific realism, two different categories. No, it's two different categories, right? They're both empiricism.
Okay.
For you to think scientific realism is something different to empiricism is two different things.
Give your descriptions again.
Okay.
He's been doing this his whole life, and he doesn't know the most basic definitions in philosophy of science. Like literally, you take the first class and you would learn these. But as we can see, he said, "No, I don't do philosophy." Well, yeah, it's showing.
It's two different things.
Give your descriptions again.
Okay. Scientific realism, scientific instrumentalism.
And what are they?
Okay. Scientific realism is we believe in claims about observables that scientists make, and we believe in claims which are made about unobservable entities, structures, and processes.
Can you give me an example?
Okay, so for example, relativity. General relativity says time and space is flexible, And it also makes other sort of claims, and you have claims, for example, in quantum mechanics about the Copernican interpretation and this interpretation, and that many worlds one. So a scientific realist would say, when scientists are talking about the unobservables, entities, structures, and processes, they are talking about actual things, right? So that's realism. The second view is scientific.
If there are people who think that we're talking about God is not real?
It's really important in the philosophy of science. So there's scientific realism and scientific anti-realism. If you're a scientific realist, do you think that the things that you're actually studying are actually real things in the universe, versus a scientific anti-realist has more of like an instrumentalist point of view, or basically we make up these things, we make up these social constructs that aren't actually real, that are used to describe the universe?
No. I'm talking about scientific realism and scientific instrumentalism. Okay, now tell me whether you agree with scientific instrumentalism. Scientific instrumentalism says this: we believe in claims that scientists make about observable entities. But
I don't like the term believe in either case, but go ahead.
I'm just giving you philosophical definitions.
Okay, yeah, I don't like those.
Okay, I know you clearly don't. So claims about unobservables, entities, processes, and structures, we are going to be agnostic about them. We're not going to say they are true. We're not going to say they are false. We're just going to remain agnostic about them. Now, I've given you two divergent views, and there's some views in the middle, right? Now, which ones do you subscribe to? Instrumentalism. Now, if you believe in instrumentalism, what you're basically
believe in.
Okay.
Subscribe to?
Do you subscribe to it?
Yeah. I think that more here's. Yeah. That seems to
you subscribe to it.
So Aron Ra just said he believes in scientific instrumentalism. These things aren't actually real. They're just tools to help us describe, but they're just social constructs. Now this is very important because the whole reason he doesn't believe in God, oh, I don't believe it. There's no facts. There's no evidence. They aren't actually real. Oh, I don't believe in an invisible sky daddy. That isn't real. So we're going to see him contradict himself.
When scientists are talking about unobservable entities, processes, and structures, they are not saying something which is true. They are saying something which it might be true or might be false. They're agnostic about it. So if you're a scientific instrumentalist, that means Darwinian evolution, which you support.
And what do you think Darwinian evolution?
Wait, hang on.
Because this where it gets funny.
Hang on.
I'm serious.
Hang on. Wait, hang on. That basically means you don't believe it to be true if you're an instrumentalist. So that basically means this whole time, Aron.
This is exactly why we all need to study philosophy, especially pop atheists like this guy, because most atheists make the most basic fallacies. They rely on rhetoric and deception, and that convinces most people. But all it takes is some basic philosophical knowledge to literally make him, Aron, walk into a circle and refute himself.
Well, let's see. Aron,
you know what you just did? I made a little hole, you walked into it.
No, I didn't.
You just admitted you're a scientific instrumentalist.
If you want to call that admission.
You did say that. You did say that. That means you believe science doesn't give you truth, but gives you instrumentally useful theories.
Oh no, but it can show what is true.
Don't deny that. But that means that your claims about science gives you truth is false.
Such a powerful own, because Aron Ra's whole thing is
science gives us truth. Religion, that can't give us truth.
But he just admitted that science can't give him truth. It can give him instrumental, useful things, but it cannot give him truth. It just refuted 99% of his apologetics.
Why do we have Christianity divided into 30,000 different denominations? Because it's throwing a dart blindfolded. And wherever the dart lands, you draw a bullseye around it. Everybody's claiming to know things that none of them know.
Another basic level fallacy. When an atheist attempts to make an argument like this, you can just bring it back on them. Okay, well, these top scientists, they have different ideas, they have different theories, therefore none of them are right. That's literally the same logic you're using against religion, against denominations. Oh, there's multiple denominations, therefore none of them is right. If you literally just understood basic Christianity, you would know that we live in a fallen world where people want to follow themselves, so of course there's going to be schism and division, and again, some are going to be more true than others, and there is obviously one that is true. Just like in science, there is one theory that is true, and maybe some other theories get some little things right, but ultimately there is one truth. Again, it's just a basic fallacy.
Faith is the most dishonest position it is possible to have. It is inherently auto-deceptive and cannot lead to truth because there's no way to define what is correct and what is false.
Why do you say that, Aron? Because in the previous clip, you refuted yourself. You showed that science cannot give you truth. It can only give you useful things, but it cannot give you truth. But you just said, oh, faith can't give you truth. You just contradicted yourself.
So, according to your worldview, how do you tell what is correct and what is false? How do you know what truth is. I've been, this is what I've been trying to ask you.
What I've been trying to answer over and over again is I've been successfully answering. You just haven't heard it yet. The truth is what the facts are. Repeat it back to me so I don't have to restate it.
Truth is what the facts are. Aron Ra. Wow, what a groundbreaking take. As if there are things as just brute facts that don't require interpretation. We interpret everything within our paradigm. We can look at the same exact set of facts, yet we interpret it within our paradigm and we come to different conclusions. This guy he's a classical foundationalist, but again, he doesn't even know basic philosophy. He doesn't know any of this.
Ultimate standard.
No, you don't.
From God.
No, you don't.
Says that it's, how do you know?
You don't have a standard. You don't have, because you have nothing that indicates what is right or what is wrong. Nothing that says which is true or what is metaphorical and what is literal. You can't discern any of it.
Without the scriptures, yes, you're right. It would all be arbitrary. We wouldn't
With the
know.
scriptures, you are powerless. The scriptures offer you nothing. They are absolutely wrong about absolutely everything, back to front. There is no truth in
The satanic arrogance, please pray for him. Christianity is absolutely wrong
About absolutely everything. In the
the way he is talking to this girl, like literally a girl who is asking very good, honest philosophical questions, and he comes across so condescending and so rude. Again, the lack of self-awareness. I'm not trying to be mean, but dude, look in the mirror. You're dressed like a fat vampire. Like just look in the mirror. What are you doing with your life? Please pray for him.
So
what you're telling me now is
If
you
you
could
claim
be
absolute truth, if you claim absolute truth, you're lying to yourself.
Is that absolutely true?
Is what absolutely?
What
Yes.
you just said?
Yeah.
So you
if we
don't
claim
believe
absolute
in religion?
truth, if we claim absolute truth, then we're fooling ourselves because you can't improve.
Is that absolutely true?
Yes, for logical reasons, you should
So
understand.
you do believe in absolute truth?
No, I don't. I said what could be absolutely true?
All it takes is basic philosophy to totally debunk like someone like Aron Ra, even though he's been doing it for so many years, just basic philosophical questions, and he starts getting mad,
He starts getting angry. No, and he starts getting really upset.
uses circular reasoning because he doesn't know the most basic fallacies.
Through testing.
But obviously, we have a much different way of thinking through things, and we have the same scientific
No, you
method.
don't.
We have the
No, you do not. Absolutely not. You have the exact
as
opposite.
a Christian-
You have the exact opposite of science. Everything science is or does, faith does the exact opposite. So science cannot ever declare anything to be absolute truth. Period. That's first rule. Was that absolutely true? Yes! Science cannot say that anything is absolute truth. And that is absolutely true. And it's not a contradiction. And everybody understands that.
The fruits of the Holy Spirit are being calm and patient and loving, and we can see that in this girl. If you're a Christian and you're debating, you need to act like a Christian. Because if you do, the atheists will make a fool of themselves. Atheism is literal foolishness. That's what the Bible says. In professing themselves to be wise, they made themselves fools. I mean, look at him. We can see the fruits of Satanism, what it's doing to him. He can't help but, oh my gosh, these crazy reactions and getting so upset when she's just asking basic questions.
that there is right and wrong. Would you agree that murder is wrong?
Yes, murder is
So,
objectively wrong.
according-
And so when God commanded people to murder, he was wrong.
According to what standard? Why is what
The
he
objective
did
standard
wrong?
that murder is universally wrong.
What objective?
This question is how you beat any atheist. Oh, these ethics you're talking about. What is your criteria? On atheism, there is no good. There is no evil. There's no reason to do anything because you cannot derive an ought from an is. Again, if they just studied basic philosophy and ethics and meta-ethics, they would understand the is-ought critique that David Hume brought up. You cannot derive an ought from an is, meaning that an atheist can describe, okay, suffering is happening, but suffering ought not to happen. That will always be a non sequitur. It's not justified. You can never justify it. Why? You can't get normative statements from the fact that the world is a certain way. So when an atheist makes moral claims, you just have to ask, why? What's good? Where does it come from? Why is that good? Why is that bad? Why? Why? There are no ethics on atheism. It will always be their subjective taste preference. When Aron Ra says, oh, that's evil. That's evil. Evil? What's evil? You talk about science and truth. What test tube, what telescope tells us where the evil is? You can't, on a purely materialist worldview, you can't get that. You need God. You need to be justified in your ethical claims. And I don't think they realize how devastating a critique this is. Because it's not only like, oh, there's just like you can't describe morality, you can't describe good or bad, but it destroys the possibility of debate. Because why do we debate? Before we debate, we assume that we ought to follow the true over the false. But on atheism, there is no reason to follow the true or the false. Either way, it doesn't matter. What reason? Why should we follow the true on atheism? Why should we follow the false? And we see this is exactly why that they rely on deception and rhetoric, because atheism doesn't care about truth. They care about power, about will to power. Because again, there's no reason to follow the true or the false on atheism. It's all about power. And that's why all these pop atheist apologists like Christopher Hitchens and Sam Harris and Richard Dawkins, Aron Ra, they rely on rhetoric, on emotional appeals. God is so mean. Oh, they make these basic fallacies because that's what convinces most people. But if you actually want the truth, you need to study philosophy, and that will lead you to Christ.
Because you have the armor of God and the helmet of God, and these are things supposed to steel your mind against reason so that you will never be convinced by anyone's earthly arguments. Remember, the Bible is the only truth and everything else is a lie. So, everything has to be wrong. Reality has to be wrong in order for this belief to be right.
You can see how spiteful he is, because this is just a straw man. No serious Christian has ever said this, that, oh, everything outside the Bible is absolutely wrong. No, the Bible is infallible, and it's an important part of history. It's God's revelation to mankind. But again, there is truth because God itself created the universe. God made reality. He made a world that was logically ordered. The only reason the world is intelligible is because it was made by an intelligence. This is totally contrary to the gospel. He is straight up just lying. I'm not trying to be mean, but do atheists not know how to dress themselves? I mean, what is he wearing? He literally went out of his way to buy this shirt. You look at what they're wearing at the Satanic Invocation, the bunch of blue-haired people. I'm not trying to be mean, but it's just the aesthetics, what are you doing? It's just a lack of self-awareness. Just honestly feel bad. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Comment if you want me to respond to more Aron Ra videos or specific atheists, and I will do it. And I just feel bad, for these people who are convinced by people like Aron Ra. They have been sold short. They don't know basic philosophy. You've been sold a deception, and we need to be rooted in the truth, and that requires studying philosophy. And if you are an Orthodox Christian, you read the church fathers, and they were very, very philosophical, and they prepare us to deal with any fallacies, any heresies like this. I hope you enjoyed the video. God bless.